Hi, Brenda, you are muted.
Well, as I was saying, welcome to our online community. Good evening, everyone, on Freedom Day in South Africa. It's just gone after 7 o'clock. We are on time to start a very important discussion that we believe on Freedom Day, we get younger people to tell us about their aspirations and the future and whether they do access the freedom in their minds and in the way they believe that they should. But this is also a very entertaining program in many ways because we're going to be enjoying the music and the creations of these amazing artists and also hear from them what exactly they feel about their craft. So welcome to today under the theme, the South African Jazz Connecting the Tradition, presented auspiciously today on Freedom Day. This is a partnership project of the Center for Creative Arts at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Arts Culture at the University of Johannesburg, UJ, and the Center for Jazz and Popular Music at UKZN, and the South African Association of Jazz Education. Today's discussion is facilitated by myself, Brenda Sisane, and it's entitled Envisioning and Entertainment, New Voices in Jazz on Freedom Day. The theme is inspired by a broad conference topic, Does Jazz Matter?, which would have been hosted by the South African Association for Jazz Education later this year, but which had to be cancelled because of the national lockdowns. This online mini festival is presented to mark the Global Jazz Appreciation Month celebrations. If you want to know more about that, Jazz Appreciation Month is fondly known as JAM, very appropriate, is a global event held in April every year to recognize and celebrate the extraordinary heritage and history of jazz. And JAM is intended to stimulate and encourage people of all ages to participate in jazz, to study the music, attend concerts, listen to jazz on radio, recordings, and read about jazz and so on. And Freedom Day in South Africa is supposed to etch in our minds the fact that we live in a democratic society and some freedoms are open to all of us as equals in our society. So also before the end of this particular program, after much deliberation by the judges today, we're going to close off with an injection of hope as we look at the future. And if you've entered the challenge to respond to the question, does jazz matter? One of you will surely take home part of the prize for 3,000 rand. We'll announce this by the end of our session, so stay with us. And if you missed a lot of what happened today, this festival has been hot and running in a beautiful way. At 1 p.m. there were reflections on Todd Machikiza, reflections of a legend and his music, facilitated by journalist Sam Mate. It was a great discussion with Dr. Dalamba, Dr. Dlamini Sazi, Nomfundo Kaluva, and Dr. Carol Muller, who are known as educators. And of course, at 3 p.m. celebrations of King Kong 60 years later. Congratulations to Adam Glasser and the team for having pulled that off. And also a very important discussion about the future of this sector was an analysis on COVID-19 impacts on the jazz festival and the gig economy. So this festival has done its job. And at this point, we are rounding off, but also looking at the gifts that keep giving, which is the gift of jazz music. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to this wonderful group of musicians. I've got Sean Sanby. As I think about him, I almost want to say, bring on the bus, somebody who believes a lot in passing of tradition. It means a lot to him. Hello, Sean. Thank you very much. I hope you're in the room. It's good to see you. How are you doing?
Hi, Brenda. Thanks. Yeah, it's great to be here.
And of course, I also have Nobuhle Ashanti Mazinyani, a very sensitive and contemplative pianist and composer. Welcome to the session. How are you, Nobuhle?
I'm doing good, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Good to have you. Riley Giandhari, otherwise known as Riley G. I always think of him as an artist with a strong business acumen. Hello, Riley. It's good to have you. How are you doing?
Hi, Sis Brenda. I'm doing well, and yourself?
Thank you very much. Thembililhe Dunjana is in the room. How are you, Thembi? Please send a shout out to say you're here. Looking forward to seeing you and deliberating with you. Are you here?
Ma'am Brenda, hello. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'm going to stop doing that like we're in a seance, right? Linda Sikhakhane, good to have you. Award-winning Linda, low-key but very high-key disciplined musician. He joins us today. Welcome to the session, Linda.
Thank you so much, and greetings, Sis Brenda. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Sisonke Xonti, also not last but not least, represent what happens when experience supersedes expectations, having once been a young artist and spending an awkward year launching his career amid the COVID pandemic and surviving it. And everybody here has got something to bring to the party. As we were discussing what's going to happen today, we thought it would be better to maybe play a video of each and every one of these artists, have a short interview with each and every one of them, and later on consolidate these discussions in a panel conversation with them about their future and the aspirations and what they feel about what they do. So that's how we're going to run the program. And I'd like everybody to be on standby so that we kick it off and maximize on the time we've been given. And without further ado, Sanby will be going first with this video. Sean, I'd like you, to just maybe as we start playing this, the video that you shared with us, the song's name being Essence, in Essence, and composed by yourself, why you selected this particular video for this moment. If you can share a little bit of that with us before we play that.
Sure. The reason I chose the song in particularly, it's a song that I wrote in a time of change, and in a way finding how you need to adapt and what you need to adapt to in that. And the format in which you're going to hear the song is also in trio, which is a format that I'm not usually used to playing my music in. It's usually in a much larger 6 or 7 ensemble piece band. And so this was really just what I've been working on and been busy with now in this lockdown time, coming out and gigging more.
Let's take it away. It's called In Essence by Sean Sanby. I feel like giving you a round of applause. That was absolutely incredible, Sean. Thank you very much about that. You look very free. You know, I'm almost getting a sense that it was wonderful to perform just in the out, in nature. You know, I'm almost feeling like, almost thinking, isn't it wonderful that the music has come back into the yard, into the neighborhood, into our presence,
Yeah, definitely.
How was that for you? I mean, Sean, I understand that, you recorded this album just after coming back from a long tour with a musical production, I mean, what compelled you to immediately jump onto presenting this album? What were your thoughts during that tour and experiences? Just in brief,
Sure. So actually, a part of it was I recorded just before I left. So it was the weekend before a 7-month tour that I was going on as being part of a musical. And it was something that I knew I could do in the time of being at home, and then have the time away to come back and release after having needing to sort out all the other details, and that there's a lot of admin and work that goes into the other side of releasing an album. And so I think it was just more for that to settle.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. Well done on that one. We look forward to hearing more about, what you'd like to do and how you see the future when we get to the panel later on. I'd like to welcome another one of your colleagues on the panel here today, and this is a pianist from Cape Town. She calls herself a jazz pianist, composer, and arranger, and she says from the early age of 10, she has been actively involved in music training and performance around Cape Town. Nobuhle Ashanti is also born of a piano player of a father, and we're going to enjoy a little bit from here. Nobuhle Ashanti, just give us a little bit of an intro to this track that you shared with us today.
Yebo. So the composition I chose is a song called Play for the Innocent. It's a song I hadn't really, I'd written a couple years ago, but only started performing it maybe 2-3 years ago. The song was inspired by just being aware of the cruel injustice that takes place in our world. Just innocent lives that are taken away at the hands of selfish human beings. It's really heartbreaking, and this is the composition. Just I poured all my feelings and thoughts into it. So yeah, this is Play for the Innocent.
Can you repeat? Yeah, okay, let's go for it. Well, thank you very much. So sensitive you are. You can unmute yourself, Nobuhle. It happens to most of us, trust me. Even the first time I saw you, you know, your head was bent down. You almost looked like you want to be one with the keyboard, you know.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like you walked into the room and kind of silenced everything so that, you know, this music of yours must come through, you know. I wanted to ask you about the different settings that allow for your creativity to flourish. And also thank you very much for allowing Sean to show himself again, you know, in terms of things. Just let's wrap up quickly. I mean, you have a great band with you. You know, you have Sean himself on the bass, and you've got Tifo talking drums, Mahola on, you know, who is also quite a sensitive player for this song. And just wanted to say it translates perfectly to the title, as you said, A Prayer for the Innocent. You know, any remarks on this video and how you felt? Yeah.
Firstly, thank you. I'm glad you received. Yeah, working with those cats is always a great time. They're very respectful of the vision that I'm trying to, or the concept that I'm trying to bring to life through a composition. But it's also really cool how they just bring themselves and their skill set, and also their own emotion, and how they connect with the music. It elevates it so much, and it's always just a free, safe space, which I really appreciate. Those cats are really great to work with, and yeah, I like to have space and sensitivity. It just helps me personally, you know, carry my emotion across. And I love how they allow me to do that. You know, they build when I build, and you know, they're not afraid to pull back either. So yeah, it's always a great time. Awe Sean and Tifo Mahola, like, much respect, guys. Thank you.
I shall join in and say our way. There's a track that I've discovered about from the lady herself. It's called Butterfly Effect. It's a beautiful piece of music as well. Please make sure you make a date with it. Riley G is next. You know, the first time I met Riley G, he was playing and there was so much energy on stage, you know, because of him. The second time I met him, it was through him sending his work, you know, so that one could look at it and listen to it. Before he says anything else, Riley's a businessman. He understands the importance of representing his work, protecting it. He refers to himself as a session drummer, composer, producer, teacher, keyboardist, and audio engineer. He's based in Durban and he's presenting a piece called Midnight Visions. And with him, he's got Zibusiso Makatini on keyboards, Daniel Nglasi on bass, and himself on drums. It's a trio project, and he can tell us a little bit about this track in particular to represent tonight. It's called Midnight Visions. Let us know about it. Please come through, Riley.
Hi, Sis Brenda. You know, Midnight Visions is a song I composed at nights. And you know, for me, when everything is silent, everything is quiet at night, I can think and things appear more clearly to me. So, you know, over time, I've been hearing this melody always at night. So I decided to put it together as a track. And these fragments of phrases that came together over time, you know. So, and then I decided to do it as a trio with my good friends and brothers, Daliso Ndlazi and Zibusiso Makatini. And, you know, they brought so much to the music as well. Like whenever we meet or stuff, I don't ask them to like play it a certain way because I just know they're going to bring what they bring best. So they really added a lot to the tune as well. And, you know, we performed it last year in November as part of a Concert SA project. And, you know, we're grateful to Concert SA for, you know, giving us the opportunity to perform as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're grateful that you are able to perform and everybody who makes it possible. And today's discussion will be about that later on. But let's enjoy the music. Let's enjoy the song that comes at night from Riley. fabulous mood as well, Riley. Thank you so much. I'm actually kind of curious, as somebody who's an audio engineer, somebody who finds yourself in beautiful projects. I had you on Neil Gonsalves's new album as well. And, when these two streams of your work, your career, how do they allow you to then be this creative who comes alive at night and makes such great music, How do you balance all of that?
It is challenging in terms of the balance, but we manage to do it. If you have a love for something, you try and invest all your time into it and make sure that it's what you want. Mm-hmm. So my sleep patterns have been so off. I've been awake at night, just putting these projects together and just writing charts and, like mixing tracks and stuff, which I'm really enjoying right now. So, but I'll always miss the live performances, like playing with the band live. I miss the audience interaction. That's really missed right now. But I guess I'm just trying to compensate for not having that and just working on my own at the moment.
What came first, you as a drummer or you as an engineer? Which part came first for you, and how do you then, transcend to being both? Sure.
Drums was my main, my main form of instrument. So my dad is a drummer, and ever since watching him when I was small, I fell in love with the instrument, and from then my love for it grew, and I would watch him improvise, and I would see how he would improvise, and for me that was the most fascinating thing, because jazz and improvisation they go hand in hand. So from there I started to do the same, and yeah, that's it. The improvisation got me. I was hooked immediately.
Well, it shows. Well done on that part, and wish you all the best. Riley Giandhari, he's known as Riley G, an artist with a strong business acumen, but also producer, teacher, keyboardist, and he's here with some friends. He composed and produced this album, and it's not officially released yet as an album, but it's available. It's out there. Thank you very much for just sharing with us a little bit. We'll get back to conversing with you again about your further aspirations. Thembililhe Dunjana, comes through as a very independent spirit, very free, comfortable amongst her male peers. In fact, something that I noticed a lot. She's from Gugulethu to Cape Town. She's a pianist, vocalist, and educator. And a performance video, which she recorded herself, characterizes her presentation here tonight. And it's taken from her album Ingyakyambo, which I think means a flower. Okay, solo piano song, a little singing. Thembililhe, please come through. Let's just talk a little bit about how you get things done, how you shoot a video of yourself, and and just get on with the business of presenting your art to the world.
Ooh, well, I think in my mind I'm very ambitious, and when I want to do something, it's like I can't sleep. I have to do it. So I find ways to make things happen. As it pertains to recording myself, like it's literally just my keyboard and interface and into my laptop. Because I have a YouTube video where I make like piano tutorials. So I really wanted to sort of up the sound. So I just kind of researched how to record, because me and engineering are like, opposite directions. So yeah, I think I like to do what I want to do, and I'm low-key impatient. So yeah.
We look forward to hearing your playing, on the keys. I was listening to you in another project of Tipo Mahola as well, so to be great to just let this video play, and let's find out what makes you tick as a musician, and enjoy your offering. Hmm. And how did the launch program challenge you, after you've worked so hard to put together this music and this album, Thembililhe?
Brenda, please can you repeat that question? I didn't hear
Oh,
you.
I'm sorry. I was just thinking, you launched this album. It was a great announcement. We all were very excited to receive it. What were the learning things for you? I mean, you're very comfortable in what you do in front of the keyboard and teaching as well. There's all these things you self-produce and then you self-promote as well. What were the learnings for you, key to?
So I look comfortable, but I'm not always comfortable. It's just that sometimes I don't have an option but to do it myself, because I don't think that sometimes it's not always that people are going to see your vision, or sometimes people aren't available. So I just am like that. But the album, I think, I don't know, it was a need for me to release it. People definitely received the music well. But yeah, I just really wanted to share my music because I had so much music, hence the double album. Yeah, it was really a need for me. Yeah, and this music is what I love. It's how I love to express myself. So I just wanted to allow people to enjoy that as well.
Okay. Yeah. And what is your vision, really? What is your vision if you were to give it to us in a nutshell?
To be as honest as possible, to not have inhibitions, because I'm a very shy person. Maybe it doesn't look like it, but I'm super shy. My vision is I want to be as honest as possible in my music and not to think about what people think. It may not seem like a hectic vision, but for me personally, yeah.
All of you. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and I mean, part of my vision as well, I really love to teach and I want to further that, because I feel like that's a really important thing for me, because sometimes when I teach people, it's like I'm seeing myself through them. Especially being a teacher as young as I am, I can almost relate to the struggles that they go through, and I just like to be that comforter or mentor kind of a person. So I just really love to teach and guide. I'm a super nurturing person, so yeah.
Thembililhe Dunjana, she's a pianist educator, and she's got an album. It's called Ingagambo, and it's worth checking out to everybody who is out there and they haven't heard it. Congratulations. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. I have to go to a place where I one time was taken around a little bit. I don't think Linda Sikhakhane believed that he was taking me around, but Linda Sikhakhane also won an award and found himself in the streets of New York. He's got a low-key personality, but in this case, a very intense person when it comes to his craft and his observance of rules of the game. A very focused player indeed from Umlazi, Durban. He's a saxophonist and an improviser. He meshed 3 songs into one presentation: Pezubonke, Princess Magogo's work, Umkhokheli and Codes of Light. This video was taken on the 9th of May at the New School in New York as part of his senior recital, which turned out to be his sophomore album, An Open Dialogue. On the personnel, he's got Lex Gordon on piano, Zolake Duma, Belle Lepierre on bass, Alon Benjamin on drums, and he says that his albums are both available on digital platforms if you're interested. For now, Linda, I would like you to share with us a little about how you will be reminiscing about being out in the streets gigging at this time of the night, and that this was taken from you, those jam sessions, but also just I found you walking the streets of Joburg distributing your album. Would you like to share with us, what we're about to see and why you combined all these different works, to present a message from yourself?
Cool. Thank you so much, Sis Brenda, for the opportunity. Well, I've merged 3 songs that stem from a presentation that I had done in New York in 2019, which was my senior recital. And of course, in that performance, I had not thought that this would be an album. So it was just a presentation. So I felt that it's important to first acknowledge our teachers. Hence, I had played a song from Mamu, Princess Makoko, of which I believe everything that I do stems from that time, because, you know, coming from KZN and the music of Amahubo is very central in everything that I do. And the second song, titled Umkokeli, is actually a response to that song, and also a dedication to the teachers and the musics that comes from KwaZulu-Natal. And Cause of Light is a song that I had written in New York. I was basically just reflecting on my upbringing and what are these cause of light. And in this particular moment, I had been, you know, seeking through the bandstand and, you know, like using the bandstand as a mode of light and, you know, just trying to find meaning in everything that I do.
Wow, incredible indeed. Let's enjoy the video, and then, you know, we'll ask you more questions, Linda, about these experiences when we come back.
Makumbini amane eziwa phambi kwakho zithi uyingcwele 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 asiwa phambi kwakho sithi uyingcwele.
Mm. Well, welcome to the seat, Linda. It's beautiful to have heard you like that, you know. And I'm curious to ask you, since the time, you know, today there's another album and so on, you know, how's the journey been since the day you left after that winning the schools competition, and you know, the journey that you have been through of surviving away from home, having to make do, and meeting some of the most amazing, talented people and being peers, you know, in that space. And today, you know, how has the journey really been for you? And I'd like you to talk about that because you want to thank the teachers. You know, this is a teaching event. It's an event by teachers, by educators, and by virtue of them understanding the importance of platforms. That's why even this one has been created, you know, the space of teaching and what it allows young people. You know, just go in and share with us, you know, how this journey has been with teachers and your talent coming to the fore.
It's been an interesting journey, I must say, you know, because well, without our teachers, we basically have no way. And, you know, I've been so grateful because I've been, you know, under the wings of Dr. Brian Tusi back in Umlazi, who created an opportunity for you know, for young people to study music. But before that, I think it's very important to thank our parents as our teachers as well, and just the community, the communities that we grow up under, because, you know, there's, I guess it's just so much music all around. But of course, in the music industry as well, we have teachers that have been constantly creating these bridges for us. Hence, I was able to be in New York, you know, because if we look at how these collaborations have been crystallizing over the years, the likes of Babu Hugh Masigela being in the United States, the likes of Mamu Miriam Makeba, the likes of Babu Begim Selegu, they've created an opportunity for us to just tap into this space and, you know, sort of like, well, I see it as a relay where we can tap into this space and like further, you know, whatever conversations that they've started. So it's a very interesting journey, and I'm learning quite a lot from it. And I'm, you know, I'm forever seeking, by the way, yeah.
Well, to the seeker in you, enjoying your forays, you know, because we can enjoy the fruits of your work through your albums. Congratulations on your second one as well. You know.
Thank you.
And really, you know, we're going to talk about how you can share your experience about, you know, having different spaces to compare, if you know what I'm saying. But how, you know, the growth of you as a player of this instrument that you so attached to, you know. You alluded to the jam sessions that you were always attending. I remember the night I was with you at the club. You were just waiting to go to Smalls and meet up with the cats. You know, do you want to say a little bit about why that was important for you?
It was important because, well, that's like the spot where you meet really interesting musicians, and, you know, that's like an opportunity for you to sort of learn songs and engage with people. Just to give a bit of background, with the cast that I have on stage, we had met at jam sessions, you know, because there's this thing in New York when you meet a player that, you know, that you deeply resonate with him or her, you exchange numbers, and, you know, you just say we should play, you know, soon. And for me, this recital was actually a manifestation of, you know, all those conversations in a period of like a year and a couple of months, where I had been trying to sort of put together a group and present this outfit. I must say, you know, because I would spend like almost every day, you know, just club hopping in New York and also practicing at school. But it's quite an interesting city if you think of it, because just the frequency of it as well is so high, and the industry is so organized. There's just so much to check out and so much to absorb.
Hear more about your exploits, but for now we have to go into the last video, which is Sisonke Xonti, and we will then catch up later on with you know, how the panel is going to go. I'm still sticking to the program as I was given. The Sisonke will give us a little bit of In Orbit, his track, and talk a little bit about that. And then we'll open the panel. Later on, we've got 3 videos that we're going to play about people that participated in the session, answering the question of whether we need jazz or not in our lives. But for now, I want to introduce Sisonke and congratulate him on spending a very successful year after one of the sought-after prizes of being a Standard Bank Young Artist, and how that has shaped his life going forward. Sisonke?
Good evening, Sisby, and good evening to everyone who has joined us tonight.
Yeah. In Orbit, was it because of the club Orbit itself, or do you just feel in Orbit?
No, yeah. Everyone says that. No, it's actually not. It's just a song which speaks about being stuck in this whirlwind, going around in circles, and I guess personally questioning, whether this music is worth it, and within that confusion, I always somehow find myself coming back to a place of happiness, and that is writing music and spending time with my instrument. And I guess that's just a metaphor for life, darkness gives birth to light. Yeah, so that's what the song is really about.
Ooh, can't wait to go into Orbit with that in mind. Thank
you
so much.
Thank you.
Let's enjoy this song.
We're going to move on to a new song that I wrote with my brother on the guitar, Keenan Orenz, and it's titled In Orbit.
Siavo. Sisonke Xonti just played us beautiful in Orbit, and it did take us to the place that he intended us to take it to. Before I jump onto our panel and invite everybody to unmute and join us, I just wanted to ask you a question. A lot has happened in a period of 12 months. The world changed face, the way we look at each other as human beings. You were this artist who was expected, a lot was expected from you, and you have changed drastically in this past, because of all these positive developments that have happened. What is the look of jazz in South Africa today from your perspective, where you see it now?
Thanks, SB. First of all, personally, it was a difficult time. I always say this, but within that difficult time with COVID hitting us, there was so much growth for me, and just exploring my saxophone playing, and not just the music, just technically working on aspects that I always found to be lacking. With the gigging life, one doesn't have time sometimes to work on certain aspects of their playing. So from a positive, I guess, aspect, that's what I got time to do that. And the face of South African jazz, it's right here in this panel. So much amazing, so many amazing musicians. One of my favorite saxophonists, Sikhakhane, is here, and an amazing pianist from Cape Town, Thembililhe from my hood, Nobuhle from Cape Town as well, Sanby, who I got to play with in Cape Town. And Riley, who sounds amazing, I haven't played with him yet, but I'd love to get the opportunity. So yeah, as I'm saying, the face of South African jazz and the future is I guess a positive one. Everyone has a different sound, which is very important to be able to paint different colors and different cultures of the South African sound, which is broad. It's just not one sound. So, and the people who are sitting in this panel represent different colors and different paintings of this beautiful South African sound. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely well said. As an opener, it's incredible. Thank you very much for that, Sisonke. I just want to invite everybody to now, sit around and let's have a conversation about the big subject of the day that has been laid on your hands, ladies and gentlemen. And the subject of the day literally is the one that I read out earlier when we started, which is envisioning a future, the new voices of jazz. And one of the things that I know for sure when I work with when I walk into a room full of people that are a little younger than me in many ways, the humility that comes with it, because there's so much that one learns from sharing space with you. So I did allow for all of us to throw into the basket what we want to discuss in this very challenging discussion we've been asked to decide, and our conversation is representing the aspirations of a lot of other young musicians that want to step in and find themselves, in a room like this one day in the future, and they want to find out how. The first question came, and let's all jump in and say what, as the moment touches you, does jazz matter? It was posed to a whole lot of people out there. We'll play out the video out of it, but this festival wants to ask that question, and I thought it would be the first one I posed to all of you. Does jazz really matter? Any takers? I got an answer, I got an answer earlier on when I asked this question, and I think, Railiji, you had a brilliant thing to say about does jazz matter, and you shared it with, yeah.
Yes, jazz does matter, and it will always be relevant because, it gives us all an equal but unique voice. So although we all equal and, we all listen to jazz, we are involved in jazz, but we must understand that we are all equal, but we are all unique. We have our own voice, and we should think of jazz in terms of life, Things happen where we have to improvise in life, things might happen and we have to, where our plan's supposed to go here, it goes in a completely different direction. So we have to improvise. So that's what jazz is to me, at least. And, in saying that, we still have to have tools for improvisation and, like the blues, be able to swing and, have a conversation with our bandmates and, and also the crowd as well, our audiences, it's important as well.
Thank you. I wanted to ask you, Sean, you made a reference to about your mentors and teachers, that if it were not for them, you may not have followed this path of music and passing on your music and wisdom and stories so willingly. And you also talk about one of your aspirations being to go out there and speak to the ones that have came before. Would you elaborate on that, Sean?
Yes, sure. It's something I realized in myself in the scene that I'd started playing in and playing quite a lot around Cape Town. I was still studying and I found myself playing quite broadly and not having much time to actually dig in. My time away from the jazz community and that, doing musicals and other work and that, I think really showed me what I really missed. And so in coming back, the thing that I missed was in terms of just connecting with the actual people and the music that they bring and finding out where that music comes from and what that is, because I find that so often it's the stories behind the music and those people that gives it its value and that. So it was really for me and to make this decision to start going around and interviewing and speaking to people in the industry and talking to them, because I also feel it is something that is quite undocumented, and there's a lot of archival material in the American jazz system and structure. And I feel that South Africa has a similar rich history in music that there's a lack of representation of out in the world.
Wow. Okay, thanks for that, Sean. Very insightful of you to say that and making notes about that. When I was speaking earlier on, Nobuhle came, when you responded, you spoke about being thankful for the opportunity to perform, I noted that and I was asking myself, yes, indeed, it's the opportunity to perform for you, for your creativity to be affirmed, by the fact that you're on stage and for working with band members that you're comfortable with, who feel your vision and understand. But I wanted to ask you to give us a little bit of an idea why it is such an opportunity and why you're feeling so grateful. What is the antithesis thereof? What is not what makes you be so appreciative that is so challenging maybe about your space, or that you feel is rare, or that makes you appreciate it so much? I'm posing the question to Nobuhle.
Thank you. Well, personally, I think so. I was a very soft-spoken kid growing up, and I feel like it's too easy to say that I feel heard and that I'm able to speak through my music, but it really is such a statement, and it's deeper than one thinks, especially for us artists. And also to just, as an adult and composer and performer, I'm grateful for the space because I'm practicing how to speak, if that makes sense, to really just voice my thoughts and share my stories within a safe, creative space. Also personally, as a music director and band leader, to just own my space and take control and take lead, but not to be the only to be solely focused on, but to just guide and bring my vision to life. It takes a lot for me personally. It gets scary, but I've been practicing owning my space and unapologetically as well. It's been a journey, and I'm really proud of myself, actually. Yeah, it's been personal growth, and I love that safe, creative space, and just being unapologetic and putting my stamp out there.
Thank you very much for that. Putting your stamp out there. Nobuhle Ashanti speaks a mind about the importance of a safe space for creativity and for the young voices to find themselves and come through. I'm just talking about what you are saying because it's important that your voice becomes the one that directs where this conversation is going. One of the things that came through much also, Linda speaks about bridges, that bridges are important, that if I'm a parent and I'm listening to this, create a safe space for a child who's interested in music or who's artistic, but also the bridges are important. So, they can't grow and be a thriving artist if they're an island, So I enjoyed hearing that from you, Linda. But I also wanted to hear from you, Linda Sikhakhane, about the only time I've ever seen somebody call in an elder who's a woman to vocalize and kind of cleanse the performance space like what you did is only with Afro-Cuban jazz, And I want to know, is it a concern of young people to have the cultural space also represented in the way we see you as a musician, Linda? How does this tie in to the theme that we are discussing about envisioning? If we're seeing this industry going forward, how do you see it when you're so firmly rooted as a person to your own culture and roots?
Well, it's very important, and it's quite interesting that you are making connections with the Cuban culture, because for me to decide that Umamu Princess Makoko should open up with a prayer, because throughout my upbringing, I'm used to that. When maybe if we need to travel somewhere, my mom would lead us into prayer so that we have a safe trip. If there's an elderly woman, I always believe in this feminine power, where women are very central in prayer, and helping us sort of be on a very safe path in everything that we do. And I think it's very important to bring ourselves in everything that we do, and I've seen that happen with a lot of my peers in this, in this industry. And of course, our masters that came before us. If you look at the likes of Babuzi Mnawana, how he has used traditional concepts and bringing them into jazz, because in most cases when we get to institutions, it's you get to a space where you need to learn something new. But I try to refuse that type of way of seeing this path in music, because I really think that everything is connected, and everything that you do as a person has some sort of connection. So bringing ourselves and our cultural concepts is very important.
Mm-hmm. That's Linda Sikhakhane, codes of life are coming through in that conversation. Thembililhe Dunjana, what from your point of view, somebody who works with young people, teaching as well, but also somebody who is gigging at this point in time a lot in Cape Town across various, colleagues who are, I did say that I found it interesting to see you, in various performances and working with different artists and platforms, but you speak about, being bold and having to bring yourself completely and wanting to be truthful and honest about who you are and what you do, as opposed to how are things at the moment, how can they be better, how it feels to be a female with the kind of vision that you have. Do you have to push harder? And not just, in a way of pointing fingers, but in a way of how do we create a more enabling environment, for whatever those issues could be.
Yeah. I think, to me, I don't think about it too deeply as it pertains to being a female, because I think when I do that, then I'm already putting myself at a disadvantage, I guess. If I'm going into the bandstand thinking, oh geez, what are they gonna think? Come on, like I think for me, what would be really important for someone, if I were to tell someone who is a female, a young person, I would say you just need to come knowing your stuff. Like, you just need to come knowing your stuff, because then when you know your stuff, there's really no room for people to question you, because I don't know. Yeah, I think I would just say be confident and know who you are. It's really important to know who you are as a person, because when you don't know who you are, then people start to give you labels, and anybody got time for that. So you need to know who you are, know your craft, and be able to talk the language that the guys are talking, be able to meet them on that level, because at the end of the day, it is a male-driven. Most of the time on the bandstand, you're the only female. So be able to, be on that vibe now. Okay. But yeah, I'd say that.
Well, for me, I think the task is even bigger than this, and I wouldn't want you to hold back. This platform has been allowed for you to give us an opportunity, a glimpse into, what is possible, in terms of expanding and growing the sector the way it's going, with the kind of talents that are on the table, as Ugaba was saying earlier on, that what are we not doing? What are we not asking of young people? What are we not bringing to the table? I see that there's a lot of acknowledgement of intergenerational experiences that are needed. There's a lot of, I hear some requests for validation to say, there's, to be seen and to be recognized for what you do. But there's also the fact that before you know what you do, you're walking into the industry as somebody who didn't know where to start. What was it? What is it about the startup process that can be assisted? It's the 27th of April. It's freedom. Is the music free? Is the interest to be a musician? Are you free to be that? I hear all of you have different formations in terms of how you came about. There was a tour, there was a work with the musical theater, there was there was a competition that was won. There's a lot of music educators that are being, given tribute to today. How else does this industry thrive? Can I ask you, Sisonke, again to weigh in on this, like you did the last time earlier on? Just talking about that the future is here. What do we do with the future that is here? How do we then make the future work better and differently?
Yeah. Just to start off on a more personal note, I might be going on a side note. I'm from Cape Town, eKhayelitsha, and this is a conversation which I had with Thembililhe last year, specifically coming from eKhayelitsha and I guess the greater part of Igugulethu naKwaLanga. If you look at the Cape Town scene as a whole, there's I guess a culture which is missing, and that's musicians from those areas, which make up a greater part of the Cape Town scene. But if you had to look at that scene, which I'm from, there's not a lot of people from the areas which I grew up in who are active in that scene. And I guess also, how do we bridge that gap? That's a huge concern for me. And how do we get those people into the music schools, the UCT, or to go to UKZA and to go to VETS? So for me, that's been the hugest concern, just personally. I just find myself alone sometimes, and not having people who, I guess, grew up in the areas that I grew up, who had the same experiences, and to be able to find them in the space which I'm working in. So that's just a little side note, which is something that I guess which could be raised one day, just to talk about where I'm from and how I would like things to change. I don't know how it's possible, but it needs to happen. There needs to be a bigger representation of those people. Mm-hmm. And then coming to I guess for the industry, man, it's this conversation can go on and on and on and on. I guess we've always looked towards government to help support the structures of this music, whether it be the jazz club to help I guess keep them alive, to pump the money in, to be able to help the artists, to be able to help the venues get more artists to come and play on a regular note. If you had to look, I guess Linda, who was living in New York, as you said, you turn the street corner, there's a club, there's so many clubs, and young musicians have the, I guess, the opportunity to hone their skills in different environments. But that's the one thing which is lacking in South Africa. So I don't know, maybe we can get more corporates to come in and help venues, sponsor the venues, to be able to create, I guess, to grow the culture, to have more venues where young people can be able to experiment and try new things. I think that will, I guess, go a long way in helping grow the industry and growing the sound of the industry.
Sounds amazing what you've just said. I'm going to throw the last question at all of you, which is the question of what do you see yourself doing that is most exciting, that is a big dream for you with your music, with your work, that you're given a chance today, and I'm like, what would you like to do? And we can make it happen. What is it? Can any of you share what that would be an ideal?
Can I might as well start.
Yeah, you can go. You still have the seat.
Yeah, for me, it's just about collaborating with artists in the more popular streams of music. If you had to look at, in the example of South Africa, Brenda Sisane, Makatini, he did the song with Black Coffee, Yesla Moya, and what that did for the trajectory of his career, and also bringing in a new listening audience, which and those people now are listening to jazz and they're coming to listen to his shows. If you go to his shows, they're always sold out. So for me, it's just, I'd love to collaborate, with an artist in the more popular, I guess, stream of music. Yeah, that's my biggest goal.
Okay, so you have it, eh? We're throwing it in orbit and it's going to happen.
Yeah, we're throwing it in orbit, yeah.
Any takers? What else would we like to do? What are we envisioning of ourselves that we haven't said or maybe told anyone, or, would like to see happen? Creatively speaking, writing, producing?
I think one of my dreams and aspirations in that is starting more places for music to happen and encouraging and putting the music out and sharing that and sharing the culture more, and yeah, making more spaces available for that to happen. There's been a lot of places that have been closing down, Cape Town side, and some that have also been starting up. And I think having more spaces where people can connect and make those connections is really important. And yeah, would be great to be involved in that moving forward.
Fabulous. Nobuhle, space, you know, that sacred space that you love. Would you like to see more of it? Yeah.
So definitely, it's been a dream of mine to have an album someday, and I told myself this year is the year. To be honest, I've just been trying to make it happen, like financially speaking. But it's gonna happen if I just keep pushing. And I just really there's a lot going on with my music, and I can't wait to share what's been cooking in my brain. And I can't wait to work with brilliant artists who inspire me creatively, and that I have such great musical chemistry with. I can't wait for us to just get together and just have a good time and put it all down on the CD. And yeah, I'm excited to share.
Well, you and Sean have just shared some amazing things that can we get back to normal to be able to record and to have venues open up and have some exciting stuff. I'm left with Linda and Riley, and I really think it would be great to ask you, Riley, that studio of yours, what else does it do, or could it do that it's not doing as a, you know, somebody who is like a sound artist as well?
Yes, one of my main dreams is to own a production house, a music production house, where I would mentor up and coming artists and, you know, just see to it that they are guided in the right direction. And it's what they would want to do. And, you know, instead of forcing artists in a certain direction, I think we could really, you know, discover what they love doing and, you know, kind of nurture that into what they want. And I think that's a big part of really preserving the tradition of jazz and, you know, and just advancing it. And although there's that, I'd love to just collaborate with more artists and just work and work. You know, they don't have to be rooted in jazz, you know, in any genre, any musical style, because at the end of the day, we'll make it jazz, you know. So I think that's that's my main.
I don't know what the jazz teachers are thinking as we're speaking about this, crossing this beautifully so, crossing boundaries. I have Linda, and I know that if you have some more to say, I just wanted to say, Thembililhe, be ready, and Linda quickly, so that I can jump to the videos and get everything done. I'm getting messages, and to the audience as well. I know that you've been trying to get us to maybe say something to the panel. They're here. Just throw some lines. I can read to them, you know, while Linda and Thembi are just giving us closing remarks on their aspirations.
On my side, you know, I mean, the vaccine is being distributed, and I think that's quite exciting. So once the doors open, I just want to be on the road and play more music, put out more records, and be involved in more collaborations.
Fantastic. Okay. Collaboration. Collaboration is the big word today. Thembi, are you done for the day?
To be honest, personally, I just want to play overseas. But wait, one thing I wanted to say, I did raise my hand, but I don't think you saw that. I just wanted to say to Sisonke and Linda, for me, like, I really appreciate you guys so much for having paved the way for us, you know, as musicians, you know, we can relate to you because you're young enough, you know, you're not old enough, but you're doing it in the SHS scene. And I just wanted to say that I really, really appreciate that, because your guys' voice gives us a voice to be able to also do. So that's just one thing I wanted to say. Yeah, for me, I would love to play in the States. Oh my word, like,
Really?
yeah, I don't know, there's just something about, yeah, I don't know, Yeah.
So the word orbit is on our minds to say, you know, we need to make these wishes known so that they come through, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I just wanted to thank everyone for participating. I'm going to wait for for direction from the people that want me, whether I should continue. I haven't seen any questions so far. I'm sorry I missed your hand if you raised your hand. I just wanted to engage a little bit on this question of the videos that we're going to play. Firstly, one of the comments that has come through is from Ildo Niger, who says jazz matters because it's a language that connects people from all walks of life all over the world. Whether you are a jazz musician or just an appreciator, it blends elements from the past, present into the future as it continues to evolve forever, an ending journey. Beautifully said indeed. I'm going to ask the panel if I can get the videos playing. They're going to end abruptly, but they're very well detailed about what they're saying. And Thembililhe, you are sideways at this point in time. you can straighten yourself up. So, thank you very much, Cameron, for your response. We've been wondering if we're doing well because we've been talking amongst ourselves a lot. Thank you for just giving us a heads up. Kudos there. So I'm just asking for the technical team to play these videos, and then we can close the session.
I don't know the words. It's my home away from home.
I love jazz because you can play what you feel and feel what others play.
Jazz makes me feel calm and relaxed.
You can express your emotion.
Jazz gives me the freedom to express myself.
Jazz lifts up my mood.
For me, jazz means expressing myself freely. It allows me to focus my creative energy.
Jazz matters to me because it allows me to express my innermost emotions.
Jazz has been an inspiration to me and has been prominent in me finding out who I am.
It's one of the only genres of music that can make me feel happy or sad or make me feel very energetic, or at least when I play a happy song I feel very, very energetic.
Unites people with a passion for self-expression.
It allows us musicians freedom of expression when we perform this style of music.
There is no way will find you great to me. Just sing a song.
Jazz helps me to express myself.
Jazz gives me meaning.
I like jazz because it's a way that I express myself.
Jazz is my favorite way of expressing myself.
It doesn't just make me happy, it's too simple. It's taken sadness away, taken anger away, brought joy to my life.
Jazz really matters. This soulful genre was born out of struggles, oppressions that our forefathers, grandmothers, and grandfathers grew up under. Jazz expresses the form of oppression that artists back then grew up under. Jazz artists are known for being improvisers, using whichever instrument, flowing with the rhythm to make an iconic song. This in life generally teaches us to come up with solutions without hesitations, to use what we have to make the world and our lives better. This genre teaches the brain to improvise. It teaches creativity, the thinking that says you can come up with great ideas as long as focus is the driver. Jazz teaches us that everyone is important as well as equal, because in order to yield amazing results, equality and respect need to be the keys. Everyone's opinion matters in jazz, regardless of race, gender, social class, and religion. It teaches us to pay attention, to concentrate and listen to the rhythm in order for you to understand and flow with it. Jazz influenced literature. The so-called jazz poetry came about through jazz. It influenced fashion, vintage wear, as well as people feeling and looking good, anticipating to go to the next jazz session. Last but not least, it brought people together and helped them feel good about themselves, dancing, jamming, despite all their problems.
I totally agree. I agree, jazz does matter. And congratulations to the Devon High School. Congratulations to Ildo Naja, as well as Mahlatsi Baloi, who's the overall winner for that incredible speech that she came. I just wanted to thank the panel for just standing through and being here for the whole evening to just present themselves, present their work, and stand in front of you to say, this is who we are and this is the future of South African jazz. Under the theme South African Jazz, Connecting the Tradition, presented by the Center for Creative Arts at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, Arts and Culture at the University of Johannesburg, the Center for Jazz and Popular Music at UKZN, and the South African Association for Jazz Education. Just want to thank you for this session, which is about envisioning and also very entertaining. I just wanted to thank you all for joining us today, and just appreciate the wonderful time that I had to get deeper into understanding you and your music. It was a great experience. I thank you all, and thank you, Diane Rossi, for the work that you do, for brilliantly coordinating the paperwork and everything, and to all the team at UKZN and the technical team that's been running the desk. To everybody who's just been involved, who brought their game to the table. We appreciate it. Jazz is about that, coming together, improvising, and creating perfect harmony. Ge groot.